Hi guys, this is part 2. Sorry about the disconnection. I don't know what happened. This is part 2. Hopefully you guys will come over to this side. Hopefully. Hopefully. I don't see anybody looking yet. I don't see any views yet. So I'm going to wait a little bit. Okay, I see somebody in my chat for this live. Put something in the chat box so I know who I'm talking to, if it's my sister or whoever. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Put something in the chat box so I can continue talking, please. Sorry about the disconnection, guys. Hi, sweet. Okay. I was reading House Hunter International, and the girl who was in New York City and going to Africa, trying to find an apartment and everything like that. And I'm trying to see if I can find the video. Let's see, because that one was funny. That was funny. Let me see. Let's see. You know what? I'm just going to, let's see, video. How's your week going so far, sweet? You having a good week? Hopefully you are, and whoever else is watching. Let's see. All right, well, I'm just going to put this link in the chat box, and you guys can look at it later about the girl relocating to Africa. Senegal, to be exact, I believe. Was it Senegal? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so how do your son and grandkids? I'm sure they're on their best behavior. I need to stop eating these trail mix and just eat my dinner. But I wanted to get this video in before I did all of that. So anyway, what I also was trying to talk about was this other, it's almost like a reality TV show, but it's on YouTube, and it's called The Conjure Family. The Conjure Family. Yeah. Let me put that link in the description box. And again, me learning about other people's beliefs, practices, or whatever like that, that's what I'm about. And so this particular family, they worked with magic as well. I believe like root work, magic, stuff like that. And they are up to 6 episodes now. And I believe they also took a break because of the holiday and blah, blah. But one thing I do like about this particular YouTube reality show is there was one episode where this family, they went into this botanica shop. And see, they're based in Atlanta, just by the way. They live in Atlanta. And so they went in this shop, and they were saying how things should or shouldn't be, as far as being, you know, wasting your money, and some things are synthetic, and all of that. What I got from that show, or that particular episode, what I got was Whatever you put your intentions in, whatever that is, you put your intentions in it. So whatever you create, it has more power. Now, of course, you can go to the store and buy things from there if you want, like candles or, a bell or something. You can do that. You can support that community. But sometimes you really don't need to put a lot of effort financially in somebody else's work when you can go ahead and do your own thing. So even though I heard through the grapevine that what she sells, her candles and stuff, are very expensive. FYI, my sister told me that she saw a candle was like $80. It's not cheap. But at the same time, if you know what you're doing and whatever you create, it's probably just as powerful. Whatever it is. So I mean, push come to shove, I like the authentic approach to this particular show. This YouTube reality show. Again, it's called The Conjure Family. I put the link in the chat box for you guys. And I like, again, their approach, their authentic approach. It's not very flashy, even though they put themselves together very well. Hair, makeup, nails, whatever. But at the same time, they're trying to share what they're allowed to share. Because some things they ain't gonna tell you. Some things you're just not gonna read about it. You're not gonna see a video on it. It's within that particular group that you're with, be it your family or whatever. That's what's passed down, from generation to generation, from family member to family member, or whatever clique you in within that clique. So I don't expect to get 100% of anything in a book. Anything in a book. Whatever's missing is going to have to come through experience. However way the experience will be for you may be different from me and vice versa. And knowing is based on experience. Believe it and then you see it. Versus see it and believe it. You believe it first and then you'll see it. You put your intentions in something and then voila. There you go. So that's what I got from the show. And again, I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with everything that they promote. But going to a botanical shop, just like any other store, if you're not familiar with what's in there, or you really don't know what you need or want, and you just walk into a store and you have no kind of guide, you'll buy just about anything. And if you come in there ready to spend money, you'll walk out with bags and bags of stuff and you don't even know what to do with it, right? So they were just pretty much saying like certain things in the Botanica, is a waste of your money versus doing it yourself at the house, or, some things that's just synthetic versus natural stuff. And so anyway, just give the YouTube a try, check them out. Again, I don't necessarily agree with everything that they, talked about, but it is what it is. They did mention T.I., because it wasn't all about, magic and root work or whatever. They were talking about just everyday conversations. And they were talking about T.I. talking about his daughter's virginity or something like that, and how they felt about it and blah, blah, blah. And they talked about campus life, boyfriends, because the daughters of the woman who, is in charge, her daughters are fairly young, they're like college age or just out of college, maybe right out of high school, whatever. So, their world is wrapped around things that the average person who is a bit more mature wouldn't worry too much about. So, boyfriends and all of that. But yeah, it's a good show. I would check it out if I didn't know about it and somebody like myself told you about it. I would, check it out, see what I think about it. Let's see. Oh, as far as T.I., the whole virginity thing, I have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings. Part of it is almost like a controlling mechanism. He has a controlling alpha male mentality. He was on Red Table Talk with Jada Pickett, her mom and daughter. Her daughter wasn't on this particular episode. Willow Smith, she wasn't on it, but there was a 2-part episode. T.I. putting it out on the table, what went down with the whole virgin topic. And this is my thing. I understand, coming up in a Southern Baptist household, that the whole sex outside of marriage is a big deal. A lot of people feel like it's a big deal. A lot of people still was having sex outside of marriage. But as far as written, black and white, no sex before marriage. Period. However, most of us didn't have the information blasted on social media and every news network and all of this stuff that their daughter or whoever is still a virgin. I would have been embarrassed. I would have been so embarrassed. Then you have these guys who are sending her messages on her social media talking about how they want to be her first, and all of this stuff. Apparently virgins are hot commodity. And I mean, if you think about historical times or what have you, if a daughter was beautiful or whatever, the father would exchange her hand in marriage or whatever with, a potential son-in-law who comes from money, who comes from wealth. So it was almost like a business transaction. Even though he wasn't prostituting her or human trafficking or whatever. I mean, but still, it's almost like maybe T.I. didn't look at it that way, but it was almost like he was saying, hey guys, my beautiful young daughter, she is still a virgin. She is now technically an adult. Who has the highest bid? That's one side of it. When I first heard him and heard the backlash or whatever. That was one side how I took it. I kind of took it that way, like, so for all the young females out there that have shared their cookies prematurely, right? It wasn't with their forever love, right? Or their cookies were robbed. Now, if that's the case, and she didn't have no choice in that, this maybe subconsciously in a young girl, young female's head is like, I'm damaged goods. I'm worthless because I am no longer a virgin. Nobody wants me. No one's going to love me. I'm crumbs. You have that layer because it's been ingrained in you from day one that giving yourself in such a way diminishes you as a woman or as a female. It diminishes you. And so he had to kind of like, he tried to help everybody else recognize where he was coming from. And he was apparently saying he was coming from a concerned, protective father standpoint. That was his position, to protect his daughter from the young and older guys that were not serious about her as a future mother, wife, what have you. He didn't want her to be taken advantage of. That was his argument. And I get it. I understand, you know, I get it because I understand that whole alpha male. You ain't no man, you ain't no real man if you don't take care of your family, take care of your household, keep your family in line. Discipline. If you can't discipline your household, what makes you think people are going to take you seriously? So you have that alpha male, old school, as Sweet said, mentality. And he's only like 38, 39. And he's such an old soul. You know, he's like an old person. The way he's kind of raising his kids and stuff. When I say old, I'm not saying it like it's a negative thing, but I just remember people with that mentality was like the fathers believed they had to protect their daughters from any entryway in her cookie jar. That was like his main concern, making sure her cookie jar is not tampered with, period. And so to me, I get it, but at the same time, publicly putting it out there, that was, I mean, let me just put it this way. You have people who are very strict with their children, what they can and can't do. And in some cases, well until they're adults, until they're married or whatever, right? Like the marriage certificate gives them the, it releases them from their obligation as a parent once that person is married. Like the marriage is what, you know, gets them off the hook from protecting their kid, whatever. I say all of this because I know there are women out there who want a man to look after them financially and just have security overall. There are women that are okay with that. I'm not one of those women. I'm not one of those women. I want to have an opinion, and I demand to have a voice. I would not be the ideal candidate for someone like T.I. No, I just wouldn't. Part 2 of that Red Table Talk with T.I., his wife Tiny, and then Jada, her mom, they talked more about the marriage. They were going to get divorced a couple of times. They got back together. He went out, did his own thing. She stood by her man, and she didn't have sex with nobody else. But the majority of that conversation was about the wife or the woman that he met however many years ago. I think it's been almost 18, 19, 20 years since they've been an item. And then they got married, I think, in 2010. I guess Tiny was kind of on the timid side, and he was very alpha, And so when they first got together, he pretty much said, I'll take care of everything. You ain't got to worry about nothing. That's the typical phrase that a guy with money says to a woman that he wants. I'll take care of everything. Don't worry about it. You good. You ain't got to work. You ain't got to continue your career. Just, be my support system. Birth and raise my children. That's it. I want to be the highlight of your life, me and our kids. You don't need no other distractions in your life. So, be my woman. Let me take care of you. You know what? That sounds real good. But then what you're exchanging is, when you're dealing with an alpha male, you're exchanging your voice. You're exchanging your authentic identity to make him happy. And so later on in their relationship, and how, he had to go away because of, criminal charges or whatever. He had to go to jail and blah, blah, blah. She eventually, had to step up or whatever, without him telling her how to do things. And with that said, she found her voice. I guess she had a voice, and then he told her, you ain't got to worry about nothing. And she kind of suppressed her voice. But then once he got back and she had an opinion about stuff, he didn't like that. He's like, who is this? Who is this? I don't know who this is. It was the same woman. She just now has a voice, and she's letting you know she has a voice. And so they were going back and forth on a Red Table Talk about, women want men to change and do right or whatever, but shouldn't it be the same way? Like, what if I don't want the woman that I first got with to change? Maybe I want her to stay the same. And da 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 da. So they just have an agreement. They love each other. He said he don't want to start over in this amount of years to be this much in love, and it just works. And he don't want to start over. She probably feels the same way, and it works. As an alpha male, if he's taking care of the household, his way goes. And maybe not all alpha males are like that. Maybe you do have alpha males that are really puppies at the end of the day. They, you know, they're like this to everybody else, but they're really a little puppy dog. And you're really moving the head because you're the freaking neck of the relationship. That's different. That's different. But anyway, whatever. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a relationship expert by any means. I put up with some stuff. I have my line, like most people. And I'm sure if I was in the same situation with Tiny and had somebody like T.I. to take care of everything financially, I would probably lose my voice as well. Because I'm like, I love this guy, but I'm not trying to rock the boat. So yeah, he done paid for my hair, my nails, my outfit, my car. And I gave him about 3 or 4 kids. So I'm gonna let that slide, you know, or whatever. But what Sweet say? I do agree with him to a certain degree. Exactly, to a certain degree. I come up in a household where the household I lived in, there was an alpha male. So I understand where T.I. is coming from. But at the same time, my business wasn't plastered all over the internet and all over the media networks and stuff like that about what's going on with my cookie jar. And so that, I believe, I mean, maybe he was trying to do that with the whole religious community. Maybe. I don't know. Because, you know, obviously they don't want their kids giving up too much too soon. Because, you know, we've all been taught not to do that too soon. And too soon, some people think before marriage. To me, then it's just too soon. If this gal or this guy is not the one, but he cute, she cute, and you get lost in that cloud of I can't explain it. You get lost in that. Then if you were not planning to spend the rest of your days with this person, it was premature. And just because somebody got married, plenty of people got married, sometimes at 15, 14, 13, some even just so they don't sin and have sex before marriage. It's still premature. You don't know who you are. You just starting to learn, you know, what shoes to wear with your dress or something. There's plenty of people to this day that's well outside of their teenage years still trying to find out who they are and what they want and what they should do with their lives. Now, for those who want to get married early on, that's their business. But when you have an authoritative figure, guardian, or what have you, that is either forcing their daughter or son to get married too soon or whatever, I have a problem with that. But, you know, every culture is different. Every household is different. To me, that's too much control. It's too much control. It really is. Too much control. And that's why you have some royal families that will switch up the traditions sometimes, because you have an heir to the throne that comes along and said, this ain't working. I don't want to marry the girl across the street because her family got ties with this family and we want to keep, you know, everything royal. I want the chick over there because she is down to earth and I see her heart. I see her energy. I can see this woman with me for the rest of my life, and we can have a wonderful, loving, passionate life together. That's what I want. So y'all gonna have to change the rules because I don't want that. I want this. So yeah, that happens. Sweet says, back in the day, if a woman get pregnant, that man had to marry. Not now. That's old school. Yeah. That was very common where I'm from, by the way. If she gets pregnant, you got to marry her, because it was almost like shameful for a man not to marry the woman because he's not a real man. He has to take care of his responsibilities. And obviously, if he's tied to her legally, then he has to take care of her. So the state is not responsible, right? Taxpayer money and everything like that. So yeah, that was very, 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 very common where I'm from. Especially if she's young and he's older or whatever, you know. Older man gets the young girl. And I'm not talking about 12-year-old with a 50-year-old man. I ain't talking about that. But if it's like, you know, between 5 to 11-year difference or whatever, that was pretty common. But yeah. And that's kind of how they would try to hide, oh, we did the do before the marriage. It is what it is. So getting married is supposed to erase the fact that you had relations before the piece of paper. Whatever. So anyway, that's how I feel about T.I. and Tiny's situation. It works for them. But it did sound like that she's verbalizing, or vocalizing, I should say, her perspective. And they both have, you know, differing perspectives about things. But if they want to make it work, he's going to have to get used to her having a different perspective. And she's going to have to just stay getting used to him calling the shots. Because I really didn't see any, you know, light bulb go off in his head or whatever. I didn't see that. It was just like, well, you have a choice. If you want to be with me, this is how it is. And if I want to be with you, this is how it is. You know, I have to understand that you have a different perspective, but you're going to have to understand this is how I like it. And if you want to stay with me, we're going to just have to deal with each other because we love each other. We just, you know, ain't going to like each other all the time. I do understand that. Loving someone hard, but not liking them all the time. That's something I do understand. And, you know, that's where I am right now. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for those who chimed in. Thanks, Sweet, for sticking in with me on this part of the live. You could have been doing anything else productive, but yet you chose to sit and watch me ramble on about whatever. So thank you again. I appreciate everyone who has watched this video, will watch this video, was watching this video. Thank you. And be blessed. Be a blessing to others. Until next time, toodles, guys.